I'm sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. Corey O'Connor, John Weinstein, Dr. Shanna Gilliam.
Present. All right, it's official. Dr. G, if you would like to officiate, feel free. Otherwise, we're just going to unleash Tim.
Wow, the idea of you unleashing Tim is very tantalizing. So just want to thank everyone for joining me today, and I'm looking forward to this Green Committee meeting. So Tim, I'd like to hand it over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Gilliam. Today's meeting, we have the agenda. We just did the roll call. The bulk of today's meeting is typical of November meetings after our awards in September, mostly informational. We'll talk very quickly about the Cycle 6 agreements, status of our Cycle 7 workshops. Like to have a brief or as much of a discussion as you would like to have in regards to any proposed changes to the program guidelines. Share with you the status of end date modifications and the 2022 Green Committee meeting schedule. There was one action item regarding the meeting schedule, but I believe since we do not have a quorum, we can table that one. And then other business and adjournment. Dr. Gilliam, this is, I'll just, not much unleashing going on today. It's going to be a fairly straightforward, quick meeting, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
Sounds good.
So the Cycle 6 applications as they're right now, we have sent out 15 of the applications that the board awarded. Of those, everything you see in green as most recent information that I have, those agreements have been executed, meaning that the municipality signed them, they came back to ALCOSAN, and Arletta signed their part, and we've distributed it. In yellow, the municipality has agreed to the agreement, signed it, sent it back, but it has yet to go through the entire process. And then the 3 in red, those are agreements that we have yet to get back from the municipalities. And those 3, that's not a surprise. Baldwin, it's a fairly large award. They're going through the agreement, making sure that, you know, everything is makes sense to their solicitor. That was the last status that I had on that. And the PWSA agreements, typically they wait until the very last minute, and sometimes they request more time. So if there are any questions on the agreements, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Yeah, none for me.
Next, we have the status of the Cycle 7 workshops. What you see here is a schedule that Julia and I put together for the workshops. What we try to do is get to each of our customer municipalities in a 7-8 week time span. We started this the day after Columbus Day. Almost every single day, we've got some meeting going on. At these meetings in the past, and I think this is the 4th or 5th year that we've done these, where we bring the municipality in and we talk about potential grow projects. This year, because regionalization is such an important issue moving forward, that we expanded the time frame to include regionalization. So we could have 2 major topics to discuss. And, you know, sometimes grow gets a lot of time and regionalization gets some time, but a lot of these meetings, we've talked about the grow projects, where they're at with their consent order agreements, but then we've had a lot of discussions about regionalization. What you see here is just a snippet of what we discuss. I asked the municipality, do you have any source control projects? If they do, we discuss them. If they don't, we go through any opportunities that ALCOSAN has identified. We take a look at monitoring efforts that ALCOSAN has pursued in their municipality. We also take a look at their consent order agreements to see where they specifically stand. We've had a few cases where we would go over their consent order agreements and, through all the information that we have, help them out. If there's a dispute that maybe they were thinking they would take, we help them confirm that dispute. Or if we think you don't have a dispute here, you really should be pursuing your project. We do our best to try to help them along. With regionalization, Julia has been, trying to reinvigorate the municipalities and moving this forward to getting these assets transferred over to ALCOSAN. And she's been doing a fantastic job. And I'm not just saying that because she's sitting right next to me. I'm saying it because I mean it. Most of, as the slide says, the majority of points of connection have either completed or in the process of completing their defect reports. And when Julie and I, we can work together to try to identify any kind of synergies between regionalization and grow, as we've done in a handful of other projects in the past. So these workshops have been going good. They're going to continue, I believe, beyond Thanksgiving. Some of the meetings had to be rescheduled just for, conflicts in schedule. We just don't have the time to try to figure out what works for everybody. So we just tell you, you're meeting us at this time. And if it doesn't work, then we try to reschedule in December. So we do have a few additional meetings moving forward. But these workshops have been working out very well. Any questions on the workshops? So GROW program guideline changes. Last year, we didn't really have any changes, and I'm not proposing any significant changes this cycle either. I'm highlighting two areas that have to be, I believe, approved, and they're just dates. The biggest thing is eligible projects, Dr. Gilliam. We're trying to move the reimbursable projects. Every year we've been moving the yardsticks. So we're closer and closer to where we're at. We're at the point now where we are exactly where we want to be, where reimbursements are only 2 years behind us. And that should, that should be encouraging the municipalities to, if they do a project without seeking any GROW funding, that they know that they do have a period of time where they can come back to ALCOSAN and potentially request funding for that reimbursement. And so I don't think I'll propose making that 2-year time span even tighter. At one time long ago, we were talking maybe never having reimbursements, but the reimbursements have ended up being a very good thing because it gives the municipality an opportunity to implement something and see for themselves whether or not it's a good project. And sometimes if the project ends up performing better than what we would have assumed, it works out better for the municipality. The other one is just monitoring data, just moving the yardsticks 1 year. Outside of that, now we have January. We have to approve we do need to approve the program guidelines. I believe by the time we send the GROW applications out, and that would be in May. So we have to have the program guidelines approved by March to keep on schedule. So if there are other discussion points that the committee would like to discuss, we're more than happy to have those discussions. But right now, we're not proposing any significant changes to the program guidelines themselves.
Okay. I like that the eligible projects are able to be reimbursed. I think that's definitely it's definitely a win for ALCOSAN and for our customers to know that a project is successful. And even, even if we have to reimburse at a little higher level, we have assurances because we've seen it work and we know it's going to be have a positive impact on the system. So.
Now in January, when we have our next Green Committee meeting, I'll be bringing this up again. Based upon what we learn at the municipal workshops, there might be a chance where we may ask the committee, I know we wanted to have this 2-year window, but we identified a lot of potential projects that might go back 2019. Right now, I want to see where we are at, but going back to 4 years to 2018, that's not that. If they haven't submitted yet,
it's a long time.
It's a long time.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing the additional information about the kind of the date range. If I heard you correctly, you were saying that you were going to have some additional conversation about whether it should stretch back.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you're wondering if it should stretch back 2 years, or if it should be 1 year, or are you saying it should be 2 years versus 3 years? What are you saying?
I'm saying that if there are some potential projects that are identified that because it took them a while to get all the information compiled, but the project turns out to be a good project, but just because they finished in 2019, does that make them ineligible moving forward? Now, if there's 1 or 2 projects that fit into that category, okay. It might not be worth setting that precedence. But if there are a lot of potential projects, or not potential, but a lot of completed projects where they have the data, they could show us that this is how this project performed. It may be worth the conversation.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to having that conversation when you're ready to have it.
Okay, excellent. Okay, moving forward, end date modifications. Every quarter we have end dates coming up. And the new round of end dates are December 31st, 2021. So what you see on the screen are all of the projects outside of the bottom one, Penn Hills. They sent us 2 years ahead of their end date. They just know that they need more time already. These end dates need to be extended. Now, I've reached out to the municipalities. The municipalities in green have indicated that they're not going to need an extension. I wanted to highlight this to the committee, that these green areas, they have indicated in their progress reports that they should be done before the end of December. So they'll submit their final report and they'll submit their final request for reimbursement. So we do not need to worry about them. The areas in gray, they have already made the request. So Wilkins, Carnegie, Scott, and Penn Hills have made requests to extend the end dates. And based upon the explanation, there's no reason to say no. The areas in yellow, I'm still reaching out to these municipalities to get a final answer as to where are you with your end dates. I spoke with West Homestead, actually, their engineer this morning, and he believes that he should have everything that he needs, but it's not yet a 100. I'm not quite convinced that they're ready to wrap everything up. They might need a little bit more time. So, and this is not an action item right now. The way that the committees and these quarters meet, This will end up being an action item on the December board agenda. But right now, we don't have enough information for the committee to make this an action item. So this will be on the December board agenda.
Okay, look forward to seeing that.
2022 Green Committee meeting schedule. We meet every other month, starting in January, March, May, July, and September. We will have the awards for cycle 7. And then these right now, they're all proposed to be on Tuesdays, 10 days before a board meeting. The one exception would be in November of next year. It happens to be that Tuesday is election day, and ALCOSAN would have that day off. So it would be proposed to have it either on the 10th or any day that the committee, the board, Arletta, anybody would recommend. I just threw this November 10th because that's 1 week ahead of the board meeting.
Thank you.
Yep. And usually this would be an action item, but since we do not have a quorum, we will table this one. And other business?
I don't have any additional business.
And
I would say that concludes this meeting of the Green Committee.
All right.
I believe Dr. G moved for adjournment.
I did. So I did move that. So
There
moved.
you go. All right. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate your participation and looking forward to Thursday.